Wait. Don't scroll past this. That tiny 1996 D dime in your hand might look completely normal. But in the world of coin collectors, normal-looking coins are often the most dangerous to ignore. Because sometimes, the coins everyone spends without a second thought are the exact ones that turn out to be rare mistakes worth real money. Before you use it, take a closer look. If you have this coin in your pocket right now, you might be holding something that could completely change your life, something so overlooked, so ordinary-looking, that most people spend it without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific 2012 D dime could be worth as much as $80,000 in today's collector market? Yes, $80,000 for a coin that fits between your fingers. Before you dismiss this as just another internet rumor, stay with me until the end, because the truth about this coin is far more shocking than most people realize, and every year, a few lucky individuals discover they had it all along, hidden in a jar, a wallet, or even under a car seat, completely unaware of its true value. And by the time they realize it, it is often too late to find another one. The story of the 2012 D dime begins not with value, but with history, a quiet moment in modern US minting where billions of coins were produced with extreme precision at the Denver Mint. The D mark may look small, almost invisible, but it represents one of the most powerful minting facilities in the United States, where every single dime is expected to be identical, flawless, and standard. But here is where things start to get interesting. Because in the world of coin collecting, perfection is not always what creates value. Sometimes it is imperfection, sometimes it is rarity, and sometimes it is a small unnoticed variation that separates a 1-cent coin from a life-changing discovery. The 2012 D dime belongs to the Roosevelt dime series, a design that has been circulating since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. On the surface, it seems simple: a portrait of Roosevelt on the front, and a torch surrounded by olive and oak branches on the back, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Millions of Americans have seen this design countless times, yet almost nobody truly studies it. And that is exactly why valuable versions slip through unnoticed. Now let's talk about what makes certain 2012 D dimes so incredibly special. In normal condition, this coin is only worth 10 cents. Nothing more. You could walk into any store, spend it, and no one would even blink. But in rare cases, something unusual happens during the minting process. A slight error, a misstrike, a double detail, a missing element, or a condition so perfect that it survives untouched, almost like it was frozen in time the moment it left the mint. These rare variations are what collectors chase, and they are willing to pay extreme amounts of money for them. Imagine holding a coin that looks identical to millions of others, but under magnification, reveals something extraordinary. A doubling in the lettering, a shifted strike, a misaligned detail that should not exist. These tiny imperfections transform a common dime into a collector's dream. And the most shocking part? Most people will never notice them. They will toss the coin into a vending machine, or give it as change at a gas station, never knowing that someone else, somewhere, would have paid thousands just to hold it. But the 2012 D dime story doesn't stop at mint errors alone. Condition plays an equally powerful role. A coin that has never been used, never touched, never scratched, graded at the highest possible level by professional services, can become dramatically more valuable than its ordinary counterparts. Collectors call these perfect grade coins, and they are incredibly rare in circulation. Because think about it. How many coins survive 10 or 15 years without a single mark, scratch, or trace of handling? Almost none. And yet, a few do exist. Somewhere out there, in old collections, forgotten jars, or sealed mint sets, a flawless 2012 D dime could be waiting to be rediscovered. And if that coin happens to combine two things, a rare mint error and perfect condition, that is when the numbers begin to rise dramatically. That is when collectors start paying attention. That is when auctions become intense. And that is when prices can reach into the tens of thousands of dollars. But here is where the story becomes even more intense. Because every year, auctions reveal surprising results. Coins that were once thought to be ordinary suddenly appear under bright lights, examined by experts, and bid on by serious collectors who understand exactly what they are looking at. And in those moments, prices can skyrocket far beyond expectations. A simple dime, passing through dozens of hands, suddenly becomes the center of a competitive bidding war. And if you are watching this right now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one? The answer is simple, but it requires attention. You must look closely. Not just glance, but really observe. The date 2012 must be clear. The mint mark D must be present. And then the real examination begins. The surface, the edges, the lettering, and the shine. Anything unusual, anything slightly off, could be a sign that you are not holding an ordinary dime at all. Because remember, every valuable coin in history started as something ordinary, something ignored, something passed over without a second thought. And right now, somewhere in circulation, there could still be a 2012 D dime waiting for the right person to recognize it. A person who understands that small things can carry massive value, and that life-changing discoveries don't always come in gold bars or treasure chests. Sometimes, they come in the form of a tiny 10-cent coin. And what happens next? The real valuation, the auction story, and the moment this coin reaches its shocking estimated value of $80,000. That is where things become truly unbelievable. That if you are still here, it means you are starting to realize something very important. Not every coin in your pocket is just a coin. Some of them carry hidden stories, hidden mistakes, and hidden value that only a trained eye can recognize. And the 2012 D dime is one of those coins that continues to surprise collectors even today. Now let's go deeper into what actually creates the kind of value that can push a simple 10-cent coin into the range of thousands, and in extreme cases, even tens of thousands of dollars. One of the most important factors is something called a mint error. At the Denver Mint, where the 2012 D dime was produced, billions of coins were struck under high-speed automated conditions. Machines pressed metal blanks at incredible speed, leaving almost no room for human intervention. But even in the most advanced systems, perfection is never absolute. Small mistakes can happen, and when they do, they can create some of the most valuable coins in existence. One type of error collectors look for is doubling. This is when the design appears slightly duplicated, almost like a shadow effect. It can appear in the date, the lettering, or even the fine details of Roosevelt's face. To an average person, it might look like a blur or slight distortion. But to a collector, it can be a powerful sign that the coin is rare. Another type of error is called a misaligned strike. This happens when the coin is not perfectly centered during minting. As a result, part of the design may appear slightly shifted. Sometimes the edge appears thicker on one side and thinner on the other. These coins stand out because they break the standard rules of perfect symmetry that the US Mint is known for. There are also cases where the coin is struck with excessive pressure or too little pressure. This can create weak details or unusually strong raised features. Again, most people would never notice this, but collectors carefully examine every surface under magnification to catch even the smallest irregularity. But here is something even more important. Not every valuable 2012 D dime has an error. Some of the most valuable examples are simply perfect. Yes, perfect condition alone can be enough to dramatically increase value. Coins are graded on a professional scale, often ranging from circulated condition all the way up to mint state 70, which represents absolute perfection. A coin graded MS-70 is flawless under magnification, with no scratches, no marks, no wear, nothing that breaks its original mint condition. Now imagine this. A coin from 2012 that has survived more than a decade without a single flaw. It has not been scratched in a pocket, not dropped on the ground, not exposed to damage. It has remained untouched since the moment it was minted. That level of preservation is extremely rare, especially for coins meant for everyday circulation. And when collectors find coins like this, they do not hesitate. Because in the world of numismatics, condition is power. The better the condition, the higher the demand, and the more intense the competition becomes. Now let's talk about something that makes this even more exciting, the auction world. When a rare coin is discovered, it often does not go directly to a buyer. Instead, it enters an auction. This is where collectors, investors, and experts from around the world gather to compete for ownership. And this is where emotions take over logic. At auctions, prices can rise slowly at first, then suddenly accelerate. One bidder raises the price. Another responds. Then another joins in. What started as a few $100s can quickly turn into thousands. And when a coin is truly special, the competition can become intense. If you have a 1996 D coin in your pocket right now, do not ignore it just yet, because what looks like a completely ordinary piece of change might actually be hiding a story that most people never notice. And in rare cases, a simple 1996 D coin has shocked collectors by being worth far more than its face value, sometimes hundreds, sometimes even thousands, depending on what secrets it holds. And here is the most dangerous mistake people make every single day. They assume that because a coin is modern, it has no value. They spend it without a second thought, They throw it in jars. They leave it in drawers, completely unaware that certain 1996D coins carry rare features that only experts know how to identify. So before you dismiss this as just another coin story, stay with me until the end. Because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you look at every coin in your wallet forever. The year 1996 was not just another year for US coin production. It was a period of heavy circulation, massive mint output, and extremely high demand for everyday coinage. The Denver Mint, marked by the small d on the coin, was producing millions upon millions of coins to keep up with the growing economy. Everything was designed to be fast, efficient, and identical. But here is where things get interesting. Even in a system designed for perfection, mistakes still happen. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are not worthless. They are often where the real value begins. The 1996D coin exists in several forms depending on the denomination. Pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters all carry the D mint mark when struck in Denver. Most of them are extremely common. Most of them are worth exactly what they say they are worth. But a small number, a very small number, carry unusual characteristics that turn them into collector targets. At first glance, a 1996D coin looks completely normal. It has been used in everyday commerce for decades. It may be scratched, worn, or faded. It may look like something you would ignore without even thinking. But collectors do not look at coins the way ordinary people do. They look closer, much closer, because under magnification, the smallest details begin to tell a different story. One of the first things experts check is the strike quality. A strong strike means the design is sharp, detailed, and fully formed. A weak strike means some parts of the design may appear soft or incomplete. In some rare cases, a 1996D coin may show unusual strike characteristics that indicate something went slightly wrong during production. Another thing collectors look for is doubling. This is when parts of the design appear slightly duplicated, especially in the lettering or numbers. It can be subtle, almost invisible without magnification. But once identified, it becomes a major point of interest. Doubling can suggest a minting error that increases rarity. Then there is something called die deterioration. Over time, the metal dies used to strike coins wear down. As they degrade, they can produce coins with unusual textures, weak details, or strange patterns. While most of these are considered minor issues, certain extreme cases can attract collector attention. But here is the truth most people do not realize. Not every valuable 1996D coin is valuable because of errors. Some are valuable because of condition. Condition is one of the most powerful forces in coin collecting. Imagine two identical 1996D coins. One has been used in circulation for years, scratched, worn, and damaged. The other has been preserved perfectly, untouched since the day it was minted. The difference in value between those two coins can be enormous. Professional grading companies evaluate coins on a scale that measures their condition with extreme precision. At the very top of that scale are coins that appear flawless even under magnification. These are called mint state coins, and they are highly desirable among collectors. Now think about how rare that actually is. A coin from 1996 that has survived nearly 30 years without significant wear, without scratches, without damage, without being thrown into pockets, machines, or pavement, that alone makes it special. Because most coins are not treated like collectibles, they are treated like tools. And tools get worn down. This is why collectors often search through bankrolls, old collections, and storage boxes, hoping to find coins that somehow escaped heavy circulation. Now let's take this a step deeper. Why do collectors care so much about something as small as a 1996D coin? The answer is simple: scarcity and story. Coins are not just metal. They are historical records. Every coin carries evidence of where it was made, how it was made, and sometimes even what went wrong during production. A rare coin is like a snapshot of a moment in minting history that most people never see. And when collectors find something unusual, competition begins, and now, after everything you've just learned about the 1996D coin, you're probably looking at your pocket change a little differently. Maybe even wondering how many times you've already spent something that could have been special, without ever knowing it. That's exactly why coin collectors never stop searching. Because every coin tells a story, but only a few of them carry surprises that can change everything in an instant. The truth is, valuable coins are not always sitting in museums or locked away in collections. Sometimes they are still out there, moving from hand to hand, completely unnoticed, waiting for the right person to finally recognize what they are. So before you spend your next coin, take a second look. Slow down. Check the date. Look at the mint mark. Pay attention to the condition. Because the difference between 10 cents and something far more valuable is sometimes only visible to those who know where to look. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you don't miss the next one, because we will keep revealing more hidden coins, rare errors, and surprising discoveries that most people overlook every single day. Subscribe to stay updated, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn what could be sitting right in your pocket right now. And remember, in the world of coins, the most ordinary-looking piece can sometimes be the most extraordinary discovery of all. This is where auctions become important. At auctions, coins are no longer just coins. They become objects of competition. People who understand rarity begin to bid against each other. Prices rise slowly at first, then faster, and sometimes dramatically when two or more collectors want the same piece. What might start as a few dollars can escalate into hundreds or even thousands depending on rarity, demand, and condition. And this is where the excitement around coins like the 1996D begins to grow. Because every collector knows something most people don't. Rare coins are not always discovered in perfect condition at the mint. They are discovered in the real world. In circulation. In forgotten collections. In jars that have not been opened for years. In places where no one expects value to exist. And that means there is always a chance, even if it is small, that a coin sitting right now in someone's possession could be far more valuable than expected. Now imagine this. A 1996D coin with a rare minting error, preserved in near-perfect condition, discovered by someone who understands its importance, submitted to grading, and then placed into a competitive auction. That combination is what creates surprising market results. Not every coin will reach extreme values. In fact, most will not. But the possibility exists for certain exceptional pieces, and that is what keeps collectors searching. Because in the world of numismatics, hope is part of the hunt. And knowledge is what separates a common coin from a valuable discovery. So if you ever come across a 1996D coin, do not rush to spend it immediately. Take a moment. Look closely. Check the details. Observe the condition. Notice anything unusual. Because sometimes, the smallest object in your hand can carry the biggest surprise. And what seems ordinary today might have a hidden story worth far more tomorrow.